Shalom Aleichem, everybody. Hope all is well. Today we're going to be getting into the importance and the power of Shabbos. So Shabbos is the day, in English we would say Sabbath. It is the day of the week where we connect to our source to the highest degree. We connect to Hashem to the highest degree, higher than any other days of the week. And we know that Shabbos serves as a spiritual recharge for each and every one of us. That throughout the week, we serve God throughout the week. And every Shabbos, again, we return to our source to get a spiritual elevation, a spiritual recharge. And that spiritual boost, that spiritual blessing will carry us forth throughout the entire week. And Shabbos is associated with resting on Shabbos and, enjoyment. And there's actually, we have to, in the Shulchan Aruch, it talks about Shulchan Aruch Harav, it speaks about how we have to honor the Shabbos and enjoy the Shabbos. Kavod Shabbos and Oineg Shabbos. So these are two things. We have Kavod Shabbos and Oineg Shabbos. How do we have Kavod Shabbos? One, how do we honor the Shabbos and how do we enjoy the Shabbos? What's the difference? I heard a very interesting idea that Kavod Shabbos relates to before Shabbos starts. That, before Shabbos starts, we go around, we clean the house, we make sure our clothes are clean, we wear our cleanest and finest clothing for Shabbos. We make sure the house is tidy and beautiful and comfortable. We make sure our foods are being cooked. We cook up foods long before Shabbos is starting, making sure everything's ready. We set the table. A lot of people put a nice tablecloth on the table on Shabbos. They wear white clothing. A lot of people on Shabbos wear like special clothing. Some people wear like garments. They have nicer garments for Shabbos, a nicer hat for Shabbos, nicer shoes for Shabbos, a nicer suit. All these things fall into the category of honoring the Shabbos, getting ready for Shabbos. If you were in a house before Shabbos starts, it's normal that it's a little bit. There's a lot. You feel the pressure a little bit. Is that ready? Is the chicken soup ready? I told you to put the chicken soup onto the pot. Da, da, da. So all these things, you feel this almost this awe, this fear, and it's a very holy thing because in the end you're showing awe and fear of God Himself because He's the one who told us to perform the mitzvah of Shabbos, to honor the Shabbos. Then there's the level of Oineg Shabbos. Oineg Shabbos means delight on Shabbos, enjoyment, pleasure on Shabbos, and that is we try to spend extra money on Shabbos for better foods that we enjoy even more expensive and delicious and luxurious foods that maybe during the week we would normally spend our money on. We wouldn't really spend on an average day. We wouldn't go buy that food or eat it. But on Shabbos, we dedicate this special food. We'll eat it on Shabbos. So if you see a very special food they really enjoy, maybe it's more expensive. So maybe a good way to elevate this food is to then say, look, it's expensive and it's very delicious and I don't want to get too obsessed with it, but maybe I'll buy this dish for Shabbos in order to elevate the Shabbos and eat this good food, which is a mitzvah on Shabbos. So that's how we enjoy the Shabbos. There's other ways as well. We drink wine, red wine on Shabbos. We eat meat, fatty meat. We try to eat meat and fish as well. It's not, of course, we eat bread. We break bread. We make the blessing on bread after the prayer, Friday night prayers. So the Alter Rebbe explains how biblically it may not have, there's a debate as to whether it was commanded biblically to eat meat on Shabbos. But now it has become a rabbinic halacha, a rabbinic law, because of the fact that wine and meat meat especially, wine and meat are considered luxurious foods and enjoyment, foods of enjoyment. So since that's the custom nowadays that it's so popular, and this was a few hundred years ago, but it's even more prevalent, I'd say at least as prevalent, or if not even more prevalent today, that red wine and meat is considered a luxurious meal. So we have the law, the custom to eat meat on Shabbos and drink red wine, and also eat fish as well. Fish is a very luxurious food, and it's connected to tzaddikim. It's a holy food. When you eat fish, you eat it slowly because there's bones, so you eat it in a very refined way, and that's very exciting stuff. So another way we enjoy the Shabbos, we spend time with family, we eat a meal with family, we catch up with those family members. we try to make our bed before Shabbat, so when we go into bed to sleep for the night, it's already made. It's like like a hotel room, like luxurious. So these are all the laws of Shabbat. Well, these are like the two main enjoyment of Shabbos and honoring the Shabbos. And now, to get a little bit more spiritual, of course, this is all spiritual. To get into the more of the secrets behind all this, let's understand that all blessings that will actualize, that will materialize throughout the week, all blessings that we will find that rain down upon us throughout the week, are all coming from the Shabbos. Everything is sourced in Shabbos. All the blessings of the week come from Shabbos. If you want your week to be blessed, well, then you have to make sure your Shabbos is blessed, because it is all sourced in Shabbos. That actually, each day of the week is considered a different midah of a Kadosh Baruch Hu, a different emotion or attribute of God. The 6 emotional attributes of the 10 spheroids, that we've spoken about this in previous videos, that there's 10 spheroids. Within the 10, the 6 to lowest, besides Malchus is the lowest, but the 6 right above it make a unit called Zer Anpin, which are the emotions. They are the more emotional attributes. As we said, above that is the intellectual attributes, and above that is the Ratzon, which means will, desire, which is even above logic, above intellect. But now we're talking about the 6 emotional attributes that those 6 emotional attributes correspond to the first 6 days of the week. So each day of the week has a different attribute to it. The one day is Chesed, the next is Gevurah, Tiferes, Netzach Hodisod, and whatever the exact word may be. But then we know that Shabbos is Malchus. Shabbos is the combination of all of them together coming into Malchus. We learn about the world at large, that the whole world retreats back up. All the spiritual dimensions retreat back up into the realm of Malchus, of Atzilus, meaning that throughout the entire week, we're toiling, we're involved, we're connecting to God in the world. We may be working a job, we may be raising children, we may be in school, whatever it may be, but we're serving God in a very active and very fast-paced way. Whereas comes Shabbos, we retreat back to the source. God has different, the way God created the world and creates the world at every moment is that there can be either a spashtus downwards, like a spreading forth downwards, God revealing downwards, or he pulls us up and we go up to God. So throughout the week, we're drawing down into the world, we're drawing light into the world, we're lowering ourselves into the world, we're spreading the spashtus, bringing down into the world, drawing down godliness into the world and involving ourselves. But on Shabbos, we retreat back to the source. And we retreat back above any of the worlds. We retreat to Hashem, to the Or Ein Sof, the infinite light, into Atzilus, and through that we receive a tremendous boost, because this is very deep stuff. But to understand it in a practical way, it's very simple as well. This very deep concept about all these spheros, and then we're in this world spreading the light downwards, and then we go back up to the source. We can understand this in an even more simple way, that throughout the week, we're very involved, and we're drawing down, we're connecting ourselves into the world. But comes Shabbos, when Sabbath, the holy day of Shabbos comes, we let go of the things that we involve ourselves in during the week, and we connect to Hashem Himself, and we rise above the physical. We rise above the materiality, so to speak. And this is evident by the fact that normally during the week, the foods that we eat, we're encouraged not to get so obsessed with eating throughout the week. Of course, a person has to eat to survive. A person shouldn't starve themselves. We're not allowed to starve ourselves. We're not allowed to cause ourselves physical illnesses. But we're also told not to overindulge in food, not to become obsessed with food. Because first of all, it's not good for our health. Second of all, we're not supposed to get too interested in pleasures, physical pleasures. Even though some persons say, but food is allowed. Exactly, food is permitted, and that's the most tricky one of all. We're allowed to eat food, but we're told to eat food in a way of like a gentleman, or in a refined way. Don't eat fast just to fill your belly, fast-paced, and wanting more and more and more until you're so full that you just feel like sleeping for a week. No, eat in a refined way. You have to eat. You're a human being. God made us in a way where we need to feed our bodies, but not to overindulge and over-obsess, because that could kind of take us out of spirituality and kind of confuse us from our spirituality, because we could become too overstimulated by the physicality that we could kind of become detuned from spirit, from the godliness. But with that being said, but on Shabbos, here's where the interesting part comes into play. So during the week, we're told not to overindulge ourselves with physicality, but on Shabbos, we're told to eat the most tasty and expensive and delicious foods that we can afford, and to indulge in them, and to eat and eat and eat and enjoy. Not only just eat, but eat bread and drink wine and eat fish and meat and have a nice. It's nice. A lot of people have a soup in between the fish course and the meat course. Then a lot of people have a nice dessert after. And then the next day, there's a whole nother big meal on Shabbos afternoon. It's very interesting. So during the week, where we're involved in the physical world, we're told not to overindulge in eating and physicality. But on Shabbos, we are on Shabbos, the day that's beyond physical, the day that's totally rising above, and yet we're involving ourselves in eating delicious foods. How could it be on the most spiritual day where there's such an importance in eating foods? The answer is because it's such a holy day, Shabbos, and we ascend to such tremendous spiritual heights that at that place where we're at, the food is no longer a contradiction it's no longer poses as a challenge to spirituality. Eating good foods is no longer contrary to studying, but rather the eating of the delicious foods on Shabbos is spirituality. It's such a holy day, Shabbos, that eating delicious foods, indulging and drinking wine is considered spirituality. Of course, still a person has to conduct themselves in a proper way and not go crazy even on Shabbos and fight with people over food or eat till they want to not feel well anymore. But still, in general, we are encouraged to eat and enjoy ourselves and eat the most delicious foods and enjoy it. And there's no risk of being indulged in food, because that is the mitzvah of the day, is to eat a nice meal. It's one of the mitzvahs of the day. And now let us understand something else very interesting that I've mentioned in previous videos about Shabbos, but it deserves more. That people ask the question, how could it be Shabbos is the day of rest? Shabbos is the day where we're free. So you say, how could it be that on the day of rest, I'm not allowed to drive? I'm not allowed to watch TV. I'm not allowed to do all these things. I'm not allowed to go on my computer. How could it be that on the holiest day of the year, I'm not allowed to do these things? On the holiest day of the week, on the day of rest, the day of enjoyment, these things are enjoyable. The answer to that, my friends, is at first glance, yes, it seems like you have to give up a few things while guarding Shabbos. You can't go on your phone, you can't do that, can't do that. But the truth is, and this is the uttermost truth that I've experienced firsthand, and I know many people have, the truth is that the only way you can access this realm of Shabbos is by giving up electronics and following the laws of Shabbos. And when you follow the laws of Shabbos, you enter another reality. You're detached, you're detuned from the draining exhaustion of the week and the phones and the this, and then they go here and there, and you remove yourself from that by keeping the laws of Shabbos. And then you tap yourself in, you connect, you plug yourself into the source, to Hashem, and automatically you feel much more involved in spirituality when you're guarding Shabbos. Because also when you're keeping Shabbos, when you're Shomer Shabbos, when you follow the laws of Shabbos, you become more conscious. You're like, oh, I can't turn on the lights today, I can't do this. So automatically you're much more aware of God. You're much more conscious and in awe of God. So that, as a result of that as well, you're much more involved in God's will. And you're much more sensitive to God. And you feel a much better energy. You feel very focused spiritually. It's very, very, very pleasurable. For people who keep Shabbos, they're aware. It's an amazing thing. It's a dream, almost. So, that's what's interesting, that Shabbos is so holy that the physicality actually becomes spirituality. That you dedicate time to eat a nice meal, and that is considered serving God to the fullest. And there's another deep level to Shabbos. The Shabbos is a glimpse of the days of Moshiach. That Shabbos is like a glimpse of the days of Moshiach. We know that when Moshiach comes, every day will be like Shabbos. And because Shabbos is a godly state of reality, one day of the week where the world is totally in a state of godly reality, and in the days of Mashiach, the world will be in a total state of godly reality. So at each Shabbos, we tap into the days of Mashiach. And we know something very interesting. Like we said, each Shabbos, we go back up, we ascend spiritually, we connect to the source, and it gives us a boost for the week. But that boost, it keeps going, and we always have each boost. But yet, the next Shabbos, we get another boost, which doesn't just take us up to where we were last week, but takes us even higher, and even higher, and even higher. And we always reach much greater heights. We know that when Mashiach comes, there will be the 8th day that will be revealed. Now Shabbos is the 7th day. When Mashiach comes, the 8th day will be considered Shabbos, and that day will be the Yom Shekulo Shabbos, the everlasting Sabbath. And may Hashem bless you all. I really appreciate you watching this video. Again, this video is for the Aliyat Neshama of Clara Bas Sarah. She have a complete Aliyat Neshama, total Aliyat Neshama, that Moshiach will come immediately and all of the dead will be resurrected immediately. Young and old, we will all celebrate together in the days of Moshiach. May today be the day. Thank you so much. May Hashem bless you all.